Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. Welcome back. Finished the BZ-75 on the 100 Battle Challenge. Got to within about 7 or 8,000 experience to unlock the tier 11, which is 325,000 experience. So that was my experience in doing this tank. I had a few battles on it, pretty close to zero. So in 100 battles, I was able to unlock all the field mods and go ahead and unlock the tier 11. That is with a lot of times fives sitting around. I have 200 or 300 of those times fives. The one that will kick off in a win after your standard times two, it will then give you a times five to your experience. So in a win with the times five, I was cranking out a good 6,000 to 8,000 at times, and then I would use the 5 bonus things a day that you get for having premium. And I think you get a few more of them if you have Watt Plus. So I'm also running the reserves. So results may vary. It's going to be a long grind if you don't have all those things going on for you like I did. So it took me about 100 battles, like I said. How did we do? The BZ-75, Chinese tier 10 rocket tank. It's a heavy tank with rockets. It has 6 actuations, does about 650 alpha, and it's a bit of a mixed bag, my friends. A bit of a mixed bag. I did okay with it. I liked it, kind of, but it is a very... it's not very exciting. There's not much going on. I complain a lot about autoloaders and the fast glass tanks and huge alpha, all that stuff. This doesn't really have much of any of that. Yes, it has rockets to help it get into spaces. We'll talk a little bit about that as we go. We'll show that on my replay, although I'm not going to show you a fantastic replay because I'm going to give you a replay that is more in line with my feelings about the tank. So it's got rockets. As an okay alpha at 650, not amazing. I mean, that's pretty high, but we're not talking 7 or 8, 750 or 8, which are kind of the big fear guns, and it's certainly not the 1,000 that some of the really big guns have out there. A mixed bag. Well, we'll talk about it as we go. I don't have the equipment on here anymore, but I was running hardening, a rammer, and the experimental turbo. Excuse me. I wish I had, or maybe I should have, or I don't know. But one other possibility there is to run something to try to tame the gun handling, because the gun is definitely a big potato shooter, and it can be a problem in doing well in this tank. Along with the armor layout, not fantastic either. But those are the things I used. I had 2 kits. I was running food, and I think I was running a ramming directive just to try to get the reload down just a little bit more. As you can see, the crew is pretty good. They are 4 working on their 5th skill on all of these guys. All the standard requisite, I guess, skills, perks. I'll spit out the word here in a minute. You'll notice that I am running firefighting on the commander in his radio slot. I got tired of being lit on fire. I did go in there and change that out. I don't know why this thing gets lit on fire so much. It did for me. So I got tired of that, enough so that I went in and I put firefighting on the crew and kind of wasted what could have been a good skill on the radio operator, but there you have it. How did I do with it myself? Well, we came in at 57%, just about 1,000 experience a game, which is where I'd like to be for sure at tier 10. What else we got going on? Tail the tape over here. Armor use, 0.47. That is not great for what is theoretically an assault, kind of punch you in the face heavy tank. It's very situational, and I can't even really say it's the turret because the turret has a lot of problems. Just the overall armor is okay at best. Not great. And we'll look at the armor layout here in just a second. 1.05 damage ratio, which is not great. 1.63 destruction, okay. Check this out. Hits 77%. I told you it was a potato gun. I tended to get close with it because the gun was hard to aim. So my hits are pretty high, but with only a 2,563 damage caused and a 77% hit rate, this really speaks to how much I bounced with this gun. Just not hitting the spot I was aiming for, just bouncing constantly. It does have a heat round, but it's a relatively low pen heat round. We'll look at that in a minute. So I didn't have a whole lot of trouble hitting. I had a bunch of trouble trying to get pens. Like I said, 2,500. I have some tier 8s that are close to that, if not above that DPG. Decent hit point pool with the hardening there. I was able to stay in games pretty well. My battle survived is decent at 36% right there, and I did have a 5,771 damage game. That's not a whole bunch, especially if you consider it's a 650 alpha gun. Wow, not great. All right. that is everything. The setup there, like I said, it's 325 to get to the tier 11. Let's just take a quick look at the pen. You're looking at 258 with AP and only 319 with the heat round. That's pretty anemic. I found myself struggling at times against some of the super heavies if I couldn't get to any of their weak spots, and even with weak spots, say a mouse or a E100 faceplate on the turret, if they had any kind of angling or it was look up or look down angle kind of stuff, you would struggle to pin those as well. So bit of a bummer. Look how that gun is just massive, but it seems like it should have more pin than it does. Let's take a look at how it's doing globally. And this is sorted by, or filtered, sorted by win rate. Come down here, and the BZ is all the way down here. Right there. Get the mouse on there. BZ-75, so 49%. It's a minus 1.83. I don't know, Conqueror GC does better. The GW100 does better. The 705, the 277... pretty crazy. Here's the armor thing I was talking about, and this is what I ran into. You look at that and go, well, that's actually not too bad. Lower plates are lower plates. But look at this. This is like just, shoot me here, the whole top of the turret. And man, I cannot tell you how many shots I collected in the top of the turret right there. Say a 110E5 or an 803 with a very accurate snapshotty gun. Yeah, they're only doing 400 or so alpha, but just absolutely ripping you apart. You miss 3 times, they hit 5. And you have no hit points and they're fine. That kind of stuff. Now what was weird about this is the top is not thick at all. It's 60 millimeters. That's just enough to stop most guns from overmatching the top. But it doesn't take a whole lot of angle. Look at that, 218. I mean, even tier 8s are going through that. And then you have this thing. Anytime, look at that. Anytime there was this thing, that's just getting pinned all day long. And then it's not too much look down before you get into the top. And what happened is I'd see a lot of kind of, the way the graphics work, you'd see the hole start right along here, and then it was the hatch they hit, but the hole kind of skips into that spot there. And I don't know, maybe people were ricocheting off that into it as well. No idea, but well, the other thing that I did not realize is, look at that. Pretty easy to pin. Look at this thing. That ridge, pretty easy to pin. What are you trying to do here? You're trying to side scrape. You know? Oh, man, a little too much side scraping. I collected a lot of shots there as well with the over side scrape thing. Got 110 on the side. That's okay. You can see that it's decent side scraping. I guess the shape's weird because check this out. Look, it doesn't take long before you're getting into green. Again, that's an over angle on a side scrape kind of idea. So it just has a lot of little vices on the armor layout, and really the one that hurts it the most is the whole. If you can hide all this, that's great, but the hold down thing, your turret's always going to be up and above. If your gun has a shot on them, they have a shot on your turret. And man, I got thumped there constantly. I don't know. I'm glad to be done with it. I did unlock the I think it's BZ-79. I haven't bought it. I've only bought one tier 11. I've unlocked 3 of them so far and only bought 1. I don't know if I ever will at this point. Maybe, we'll see. That's a video for another time. I'm just saving my silver in case there's something cool coming up in the near future. And then I'll start thinking about whether I'm going to even bother with tier 11s. Kind of tired of tier 11. This thing sees a lot of them now that there's a bunch of them out there in the game. Let's have a little gameplay. Again, it's not going to be an amazing game. I just want to show you what my experience with this tank was. Okay, here we go. We're on Redshire. We've got the rockets going. The first thing I want to show you is obviously the rockets. It has 6 actuations. And it will allow you to get forward and get busy pretty nicely. We're going to go up to the heavy brawl up here, and I figured we had a decent team for it. I mean, they've got the AMX-50B, a couple BZs. They do have a mouse and an E100, but we've got a mouse and we've got a 5H as well. They've got a 5H, so we're just going to use rockets to get up here. I'm taking a bit of a dangerous line here because I'm exposed to being shot on the right side, but I figured the rockets would get me up and over soon enough that'd be unlikely to be lit, and that was true. I'm going to save, or maybe I do get one more rocket here, I think, to get into position. I was a little concerned about whether they might push up. It feels like meta-wise, the other team is very often sitting on the back side of this particular map here and not coming up to the rocks. I think they really screwed up with the position that the 121 is in up there because the other side can't get there. So there's a lot of cross shots into people if they push up underneath, and then this rock here gives a massive advantage to the north spawn. The other side just doesn't have a similar situation, and they can get shredded from the TDs back there. So this is a very, at least from what I can tell, very unbalanced map now, worse than it was. So we're gonna come up here. Now I'm in position. All right, I'm not gonna apologize for this. I'm gonna get into it a little bit with this super, and I just get tired of this crap. But anyway, here we go. We're working this spot, looking for maybe a shot on him. All right, there's the 5/8. We're nice and comfy here. All right, let's try to get our shot in a little higher. Work this. Oh my God, can I get a shot? There we go. Let's try to get a shot on this guy. Bounce. All right, no, that's fine. Armor not penetrated, and here comes my buddy. And he wants to go inside. He wants to take the in. Okay, sure, dude. Yeah. Sure. I guess this actually fits with what I was saying, my experience with this tank. This is my experience with this game at this point. This kind of garbage. Like, dude, come on. Go find somewhere else. I was obviously working this spot. Very irritating. Alright, so I'll put a little angle. I'll try to work with him. He takes a hit. Just help me out, brother. Get out of my way. Okay, there we go, and I take a bad shot here. That was never going to pin, so there's 0 damage. We have bounced one, that's nice. So I'm forced to take the outside of this position here. So we'll come over here. All right. Heat and angles and whatnot. I'm like, all right, we'll kill this guy. No, armor not penetrated. Great. Great. Oh, I'm not reloaded. Long reload. Try not to get in the 57's way there. He's tearing this guy up. I'm just about ready, and I blocked that. So that was my fault. To be honest, I kind of just did to him what the super did to me, although I was there first and he came up behind me. I try not to move into people's way if I've taken inside position like that. Especially if I was there first. All right, looking for it. Watch this. Oh, beautiful. Is that it? That is it. Dudouge. There it is, fellas. And there's that kind of graphical thing. It's really a pen on the hatch. It just shows the scar on the armor right there. That's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Pretty quickly, I don't have to worry about Mr. Super Conqueror continues to poke his turret up over there. Now watch this. I'm going to go for another one on him. Nope, I don't want him to... Yeah, woo! That was close. Good job, 57. Rocket. Got him twice, and I'm thinking I'll finish this guy off. Nope. Terrible shot. Miss. 0 damage. Need to get low because that 50B is on a reload. He has 198 hit points, guys. That's it. Alright, so we're good. We're going to wait for him. Let's see if we can get him. Can I get a shot on these guys? No. 50B should be he's reloaded. He's looking for a shot on my turret again. We got him dead. Screamed out penetrated. I hit the mantlet. That is beautiful. Like I said, this is my experience with this tank. I have 0 damage. I don't know how many shots I've taken. 5? 3 hits. No pens. Something like that. Although the one on the E100 was never going to be a pen in any. Here we go. Nope. Total miss, and he gets me. BZ-75, BZ-75, excuse me, 57. Let me just back on in here. Oh, Conqueror's still alive. And faceplate. Armor not penetrated. Okay. That's that kind of back angle on the E100. That thickness is just right at my pen, a little bit less, but with some angling, can be easily there. A little low roll, and you're not penning. Nope, purple. We're showing purple. Never going to pen that. There goes the super. 0 damage. I thought actually we were in good shape here. We do turn out to win this game. The guys on the other side in the middle did a nice job. Boom! No. Really should have aimed in a little better on that. But I thought, you know, it's looked down. Even though it's angled, we should be penning. Maybe I can sneak it in the lower plate. Nope. Absolutely not. You cannot. Here we go. Let's get him this time. Here we go. Boom. For a wonder, it actually hit him. But it is heat. Maybe had a better chance with AP right there. Lower plate. Oh, this guy. Another purple shot. I was really going for that side armor piece right there, but it didn't care. 0 damage still, my friends. Doing a nice job. We have a whole 457 assist. There we go. Lower plate. Yay! We got some damage. 634. We're in trouble though, aren't we? And it looks like the guys are pushing around, but their heavies are about to take care of us. I'll get one shot on this 432. Come around here, we'll zoom. Rockets! Whee! I was messing around trying to get set up. Oh! I wish I'd hit the rockets a bit earlier. So we got 2 shots of damage for 1,335. We bounced 1 shot total. Everything else hit and pinned. Well, not everything. There were probably some misses, but there were no bounces that I remember. Well, it would have been showing up if it was. Whether I got one in the tracker, I don't know. But anyway, 2,960 hit points gone. I only did 1,335. I don't remember how many shots that was, but it was a good amount. And that's just been my experience. It's honestly been my experience in the game since 2.0. It's just one game after another like this kind of thing. Though this one is a little bit closer, I would say, than the vast majority of them. We're going to come out with maybe 5 or 6 tanks. Let's just watch it because it's something we've been talking about. Let's see where they go. 430's pushing. Why? I don't know why. There's 0 reason for the 430 to push. They must know that our west and middle guys are all over their cap. Well, I say that. Theoretically, they should know. Clearly, the E100 and the 430 don't. For some reason, they're trying to mess around with a stirb. You got the Type 5, the BZ, and the JPZ, and the Mouse. Look at the Mouses. I didn't even realize. Was he back there the whole time? That's pretty awesome. Let's see what he's over there. But that's amazing. Okay, so now we've got the Patton doing some good work. I think he eats a bunch of shots right here. Puts a shot into the BZ. Down goes the 50B. Finally, that 50B that had 100 hit points that I hit twice finally gets killed. Grill gets on the cap. Actually, that's not a bad plan. And they're just, look at the guys pushing back across. And this map, that's a tough sell, tough row to hoe right there, guys. The Mouse is finally kind of making a push. Honestly, if he'd have pushed up into these guys' faces earlier and got them busy shooting him and not allowing them to snipe those guys, that would have helped his team big time because he had the hit points to do it. This BZ is making a move over here. So he gets shot. Vickers has all kinds of DPM and rate of fire. The DBV hits the ground. Probably should have aimed a little better. He pulled a Guido and just snapped one off and missed. Weird. 430 finally kind of comes back. He's trying to get up in the middle. Takes on the Leopard, which Leopard's in a pretty good spot for cutting guys off as well. And just like that, they won the heavy brawl, but they just really didn't have what it took to push back across here, especially with all the crossfire and the fast-firing tanks that we had right there. Now you're going to see the Mouse get ganked. He kills the Vickers, good on him. But he's got the Patton and the DBV, and then I think the Leopard is shooting at him, maybe even the Sturv from over there. Yeah, they're just getting shredded from every direction. And where's the E100? Oh, the E100 is... Yeah, I thought he died. I guess he didn't die. Maybe he does? No. Okay, so they had 2 guys live. Let's wrap it up. All right, BZ-75, 100 battle challenge done. 57% win rate. I did unlock the tier 11, got all the field mods done on this thing. Happy to be finished with it. On occasion, the rockets were interesting. You can use them, although I didn't show it on that particular match because I didn't use them for that. But obviously for initial positioning, and then I would recommend keeping 2 to 4 if you can, available for later on to make dashes across open spots or to push past people or just to move forward quickly. And ramming. It can be used for ramming. It's not a super heavy vehicle, but add the rockets and some speed and you can do some decent damage with a rocket ram. Especially if you get into a brawl with lighter tanks and you've got that long reload. If you can kill one with a ram and then shoot one with a gun, all that kind of good stuff. I did manage to do that on occasion, but it's not like it's a capability that is frequently able to be brought into play. On occasion, it can be interesting, but I don't think it's necessarily game changing. The initial positioning, though, is pretty good with this thing. You can really get that 650 alpha forward. The question then becomes, how does it do afterwards? And I did find myself a lot of times using the rockets to get in that nice early position, zoomed in, and potato gun just frickin' misses. Like all of the big guns, you know, it's a sort of brawling. What is its actual? Do they consider it an assault? Assault heavy tank, right? Kind of. I mean, it's no Maus, fellas. Although is a Maus a super heavy? Maybe a Maus is actually considered a super heavy. Is that actually a thing? No, assault heavy tank. I think it's an assault heavy tank. Okay, tank. Had its moments. Gun is infuriating. Armor is, for a heavy tank at tier 10, armor's bad. If you want to be nice about it, it's slightly bad, but I think it's just bad based on the way it's set up and the angles and the things. It's really kind of easy to deal with if you can avoid taking too many 650 slaps from it. You're going to tear it up through its turret because there's just little to no way to hide the turret weak spots on the thing, and it's that big bar across the top. It's 4 nuggets. It says shoot me right there. All right, that's all I've got, guys. Have a great one. See ya.